This is why I love Magic the Gathering Vintage Cube. Situations like this. We're going to get through the draft, and then what I'm showing you here is a picture from match one. Opponent's got Shieldred, Wormcoil, Grave Titan. Can we win? Is this a winning position? Or is this a losing position? There's a lot going on here, but this is an amazing game. I hope you stick with me, and then we'll dive straight into this game in match one. Here we go. What is up, my cubers? Welcome back. Chill MTG here, bringing you some vintage cube content. If you are here for cube content, you have come to the right place. This is your home for cube. Here, pick one, pack one. Urza's Saga, man, right? Like, it's probably one of the most busted cards in the cube. Reanimate also very strong. We could go either way, but Urza's Saga leaves us open. And then right away, pick two here is a Jite. Jite is just one of those cards that can just take over the game by itself. Really excited to start off with a little artifact and an Urza Saga here. We are not committed to any color combination. I mean, I'm not a huge blue player, but we will see what comes around. Man, there's a library. Okay, so Swords to Plowshares, I think, is the premium removal spell because it gives your opponent life instead of a land, like Path of Exile. And it can just deal with it. I think the only other spell that may be better for removal could be Solitude. Solitude's ability can actually exile Emrakul, whereas Swords to Plowshares is a colored spell, right? So it can't exile Emrakul. But other than that, Swords to Plowshares and Solitude, the top two removal spells in the format. You know, if we do end up drafting a white deck, the times when I draft white and it fails. Oh, there's Seraph. Seraph and Tangawire are pretty good. Man, Tangawire with Jite and Saga. No, Seraph also is a pretty strong card. The flying and lifelink is not irrelevant. But so what I was saying, when I draft white decks, oh, there's Parallax Wave. Man, Parallax Wave also a broken Magic card. I have single-handedly won games on the back of Parallax Wave alone. So white decks without removal, like Swords to Plowshares, really aren't that great. You really need the Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, something like that in your white decks to really bring them over the top. Solitude, right? Solitude can do it. I really prioritize that premium removal if I'm playing white, even if it's not my main color, right? If I'm splashing white, the reasons I'll splash white is for that premium removal. Pest Infestation, great card. I like Savannah there. There's also an Elesh Norn here. So this is kind of a hot take. I like running a 7-drop in kind of a aggressive deck. Right now we're shaping up to be kind of aggressive white. There's Lion Sash, which I also love because it can just disrupt reanimation and really, take away delve targets kind of thing. So deal with things like Uro. Love Lion Sash. But so Elesh Norn, I'm happy to put like 1 7-drop in my aggressive decks because that way I always have a live top deck. If I am in a war of attrition with another, low to the ground type deck, my 7-drop is going to win me that game. Restoration Angel, pretty easy pick here on what we're doing. Again, we could be mono white, we could be splashing. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, so some people will say running a 7-drop in your low to the ground deck's just a waste of a card, right? Like you're not going to cast that card in most of the game, most of the games. I disagree. And I can be wrong, but I do think having just that power outlier as a way to swing the tide in your favor is something to look for. I do the same thing in red decks, maybe run something like a Primeval Titan. Here, I guess we'll take the sword. Yeah, the sword. I mean, you could splash like an Incinerate, but sword sometimes consequently good. And if you're going to splash a sword, you do it in white, right? Because that way you have access to the Mystic. So we already have two pretty good pieces of equipment here. I will never main deck a sword, I don't think. I've seen J-Bro do it. I don't know if it's right or wrong. Ooh, Recruiter versus Showdown here. I will take Recruiter just because we don't have any fixing for red yet. And if we pick up a Solitude, guess what? Recruiter can go get Solitude, so that's pretty sweet. So I'll never main deck a sword just because the only time I really like to run sword is if I'm totally hosing my opponent with protection. But we will 100% main deck Jite. Jite works against any opponent, which is why it's so valuable. Soulfire Grandmaster. I think here I'd rather take the Jetmir's Garden. Like, Soulfire Grandmaster, we're not going to be activating its ability, so here Jetmir's Garden at least gives us a splash. I don't think we're playing any of these cards. The double pip spells are hard to splash. But we will take the Regent and a Shriek Maw. We could be white-black. I will take Pest Infestation, though. That card is just bonkers in the Vintage Cube, so we already do have that Jetmir's Garden. We could splash this Pest Infestation. Okay, pack 1. We are looking base white, right? Maybe we splash something like Pest Infestation. We have Saga, which can be pretty strong on its own. Got a good start here. Best white card in this pack here is Adelan. But I also really like Prismatic Vista. If we do want to go splash something, the Vista is way to go. But I'll take Adeline here. I'm not a fan of Chrome Mox, but here we get two great pieces of stuff for Saga. We get Clamp and Foundry. I'm picking up Clamp here. The card draw is too good, especially, if we have Adeline, I can, tag up one of the soldiers Adeline makes. Foundry, though, I'm starting to come around. At first, I wasn't a believer, but then you start playing with that card enough, and it enables a lot of shenanigans, especially in the Vintage Cube, right? Foundry, Skull Clamp, Foundry, Jite. It can do some wicked things. I do apologize for no video coming out last week. It was super busy with work, was unable to get a video out, but hoping to bring you a good one here. So sorry for the wait. Thanks for sticking with me. Now, Marsh Flats is interesting here because it's a fetch land that's on color. There's also Ragavan. Like, is the monkey good enough? I think it can be. And now I'm leaning towards white-red, right? So there's an Ephemerate, but I don't have something to flash in. I could just take this Burst Lightning. It's also cards like Remand, but I'm a little turned off from a, Low to the Ground Azorius color pair. Let's take the Burst Lightning. Ooh, there's a Shieldred. Student of Warfare is like the correct pick here, but Shieldred is so strong. If we had any way to kind of go into black, I think I would have taken it there. All right, so Sparas is Forest Islands Plains. I'll just take the Relic Order here. It's okay. I'm not as high up on something like Relic Order as I am on something like Cathar Commando. Like, I'd rather just destroy my opponent's equipment and enchantments instead of just exile it off of Relic Order. So Relic Order can be a liability, and it's harder to cast, right? A double white pip. Ooh, Ballista and Courier, right? But I don't like Courier. I do like Ballista. Worst case, you play it on turn 2, right? Okay, and then there's Fury. There's also a Metamorph, but let's take Fury. We have 2 red cards with Ragavan and Burst Lightning, and Fury can just, again, is a great evoked answer. It's not quite as good as Solitude, though it does hit Planeswalkers, which is super important to remember. Blast, REB for the board, or Lingering Souls that we can't flash back. None of these seem great. I guess I'll take a REB for the board, which is fine. All right, Foundry came around. I hope to show you the power of Foundry these matches. We'll see. It's something we can fetch off as Saga. I like having 2 Saga artifacts we can fetch, like Skull Clamp and Foundry, in case we have one in our hand. Take Batter Skull here. Again, rounding out a great equipment suite should we get Stoneforge Mystic. There's another sword, though I'm not as high up on that. Because we have the Fury, I kind of want to take this Pia and Kieran. Double red pip, also hard to cast, but maybe I just need another red card here, right? All right, Shield Breaker, though, is a red card that we can cast, and it disrupts our opponent. I like that. And there's Courier. Probably not playing Courier, but we'll put it down below to start with. All right, so we're looking Boros-ish, and we are in pack 3 now. Zealous Conscript's pretty good. Selfless Spirit, also pretty good. We could go either way there. I'd rather have a lower mana value spell, so we'll take this Spirit. I guess we'll take Intrepid Adversary here. The other option, like, we're not a balanced deck. I don't anticipate having red mana turn 1, so I'm not going to take Swift Spear. So we'll just take the 3/1. But I will. Ooh, man. I think I'm taking Fable here. There's Fable and Figure. Fable is just a strong card. Stronger than Figure for sure. We're not going to get Figure and Strip Mine, though we're not really a Strip Mine deck. You just love Strip Mining your opponents, right? Maybe just me because I'm a sicko. But Fable, Fury, love that there. I'm hoping to wheel that Kithkin. All right, Sunbait Canyon. Elite. I think we got to take the Canyon here, right? Just to cast our spells. And right now, this is 23 playables. So this could be the deck right here. Get Probe, Pyromancer. There's the Flooded Strand. I'm going to take Flooded Strand here on the off chance we can get a plateau. It is a white fetch. Mortars, Giver. Guess we can take Mortars. I don't know if that was... Ooh, and here's Inspiring Vantage versus Skyclave. This is a pretty hard pick. But again, I want to take Fixing here. Because we want to cast our spells. Okay, and Jailer. Gotta take Jailer here. Even though I do love me a Magda, I want to take Jailer. So it doesn't look like we're getting a Solitude in this deck. Which is why I'm glad we have the Swords to Plowshares. So without a card like Solitude, like Recruiter's not as good. I know we could fetch up our Jailer. I will take a Zealous Conscripts here, though I don't really want to necessarily run another 5-drop. Okay, Swiss Bear versus Balance. Neither one of these are making the deck for us. Balance is a stronger card with more unique effects, so I will take it just in case. Okay, Figure did come around. I will play Figure. Really looking to have some good aggressive 1-drops. Looks like I can probably cut the Bomat Courier here. Not a big fan of that card. We're not playing Twin, I don't think. And I also don't think we're playing Sun Titan. Our top end is the Elish Norn. For better or for worse. And then Pyromancer. All right, definitely have enough playables here. So that's nice. The Flooded Strand can fix for red, but it can only get the Jetmir's Garden. I do like Temporary Lockdown. Ooh, and Oust is another good card. Okay. Temporary Lockdown can really mess with some opponents who are like hard up on like Signets and Moxen and things like that. All right, let's build this thing. All right, here is the deck. Boros-ish for sure. We do have some powerhouses here. Palace, Jailer, Fury, Fable. I am going to run Elish Norn at the top end. And we do have some premium white removal here in Parallax Wave, Swords to Plowshares. I am up on Mizium Mortars as well. The 4 damage really matters. There's a lot of 4 toughness creatures in this cube. We have one in our deck here, Adelon, that Mizium Mortars can deal with quite nicely. So let's take this Boros-ish deck into the league, see if we can earn a trophy, and let's jump in there. All right, welcome to match 1, game 1. We are playing Conehennick 95. We are on the play. This is a 2-lander with a Flooded Strand and a Ragavan. All right, we're going to keep this. I wish I had an untapped red-white source right now, but we do not. So this Flooded Strand is only going to get white mana off for us. With all these 1-drops in our hand, I hate the fact that we can't lead off on a red spell. So we are going to have to just lead off on a tapped Jetmir's Garden. That will allow us to either dash Ragavan or play Figure, double spell next turn. So we'll do that here. Oh, so close. This hand is so close. We are untapped dual land away from having an awesome turn 1. Opponent leads out on Swamp. Please, no Inquisition. All right. I guess it's not that bad. Like, what are you going to take here? If you're the opponent, what do you take here? If I'm the opponent, if we have removal in hand, right? I don't care about Ragavan or Figure. So I'm looking at either Swords or Skull Clamp as the most powerful cards. If I'm the opponent and I'm, okay, they take Ragavan. So that tells me they may be low on removal. If they didn't have a great creature in hand, then they maybe don't care about Swords either, right? So I would have taken either Swords or Skull Clamp, but it tells me maybe they don't have removal for Ragavan, or they're just super scared of Ragavan, in which case, whatever. We'll get Figure down and double spell here into Clamp. And then next turn, depending if we draw a land or not, we can either Fable or we can level up the Figure and equip Clamp. See what's going on. All right, Golgari colors here from the OP. Okay, the Mox Jet. Nice. Bitter Blossom. Okay. Gonna have to work through a Bitter Blossom. All right, we do draw an Inspiring Vantage. I'm just going to get Fable here. It's the most mana efficient play. We can still get in with the figure. This is going to make a, that 2/2 goblin that makes treasures. And the world's going to be our oyster next turn because we're probably going to slam Seraph and see what we want to do here. Good tip here is to turn on auto yields for Bitter Blossom. It's a good way to save time in MTGO. That way you don't always have to go click OK on your opponent's upkeep. All right, now they grief. That's a little sad because what do you take here? They probably take swords, I'm guessing. They take the Seraph. Okay, yeah, that's probably the right pick because the Seraph enables us to really do some shenanigans. All right, our Fable's going to go to chapter 2. I don't know if I want to discard any of these. We could play Selfless Spirit and clamp it up, but I guess it's kind of the same here if we just discard Selfless Spirit. So let's get a fresh draw. It's a Plains, huh? All right, well, a 4th white source like this allows us to double level figure, or double upgrade figure. So the question is, would our opponent double block with a Fairy Rogue token and Grief to kill our figure? I don't know. We don't have to attack with the figure. We also have swords to protect any shenanigans. Let's clamp up the Shaman here and get in. This is going to generate a treasure token, and I'm happy to trade, right? I'm happy to lose this Shaman to either their Rogue, Fairy Rogue, or Grief. And this will allow us to hold up swords as well. And also with this 3rd mana, right? If our opponent doesn't give us a swords target next turn, we can just level up. Okay, they are going to block. We can just level up our Kithkin to a 4/4. It's technically not level up. It's an ability we can do at instant speed. All right, there we go. Elish Norn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 1 mana away from Elish Norn, so potentially 2 turns. Yeah, we could. I'm gonna put the Skull Clamp on here because if we lose the figure, I want to draw 2 cards, and the 4/4 is not necessarily going to win us the game quite yet. All right, Elder. That's a good free blocker. And OP just gets in with the menaced Grief, which makes sense. Makes sense. All right, our Fable is going to flip to chapter 3 and get us Reflection, which is super nice. Ooh, okay. Unfortunately, Ember Shieldbreaker cannot kill the Bitter Blossom. That would be awesome. Again, we are 1 mana away from Elish Norn, which makes their Bitter Blossom irrelevant, right? I don't want to sack Sunbait Cannon yet. I would like to try to get to 7 mana. So we'll battle display the Mox here. It's kind of whatever. But what we can do is play the Shieldbreaker and clamp it up. I'm going to attack first here. See what they do. I will level up this figure to make it a 4/4. Again, it's not a level. I don't know what to call it. I will upgrade the figure to a 4/4 if they choose to double block. I expect they'll just block with Steve here. No. They're not going to block. We'll just get in for damage. Which is fine by me. Take 5, OP. That's so weird that they didn't block and then sack Steve in response. That probably would have been a smarter play. Let's see what they get down. They have 5 mana available. A land off the top is just going to win us this game immediately. Okay, they play Signet, which is irrelevant on this board. Unless they have like a 6-drop in hand specifically. All right, there's land. This is why I play a card like Elish Norn in these decks, right? We're kind of at a stalemate with the Fairy Rogue tokens. I mean, I think we're going to overcome with our Clamp and our Reflection, but now we are 100% in the lead. There goes their board. I'm getting in for 11, which is okay. Opponent concedes game 1. All right, game 2. We are on the draw this time. We are up 1 game. And I think we can keep this hand, right? The Sunbait Canyon and chapter 2, the Fable, means we can be at least looking at 3 new cards. Even though this looks land heavy, we have ways to spend this mana, right? Figure of Destiny is a mana sink. OP leads out. Green Soul Ring, pretty good card. We draw another land. Okay, we will lead out Figure past the turn. Let's see. I expect them to level up the Tree Speaker. Unfortunately, we have no way to punish that. I do love, it's great if you can punish your opponent's tree speaker by, right, they pay to level it up and then you destroy it in response. And then they just lose that 2 mana, right? They kind of waste their turn. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to deal with that right now. Okay, they do level up the tree speaker. But no 2-drop me. Okay, another land, not great. Not great. We'll get in at the figure. We can level up if they choose the block. If they don't choose the block, I'm still going to level up here. All right. 2 damage in. I'll probably fetch end of turn to get the Jetmir's Garden. Don't want to draw any more lands, especially not a tap land. All right, Shieldred, turn 3 from the opponent. The clock has started. That card is amazing. I love that card. I put it in my own cube. All right, so we'll fetch. You will lose 2 life here. Again, I'm going to auto yield, try to save some time on the clock here. Student's a good draw in the future. We'll have a lot of white mana to sink into it, but I want to get Fable down and get rid of some of these lands next turn. We really need some action. All right, we'll pass. We're not getting through a 4/5 Death Touch here. Shieldred definitely represents a serious clock. Grief again. Okay, so there goes the student, and our opponent's going to see we got 4 lands in hand. This is again why Chapter 2 of Fable is so strong. All right, we take 4 down to 13. We're going to draw down to 11, and they play Skull Clamp. All right, on the ropes. All right, the Seraph was a good draw. I will discard 2 lands here. Yes, I would like to use Fable's ability. Yep, 2 lands into Foundry, Selfless Spirit. I forgot. Yeah, we draw 2 cards. We lose 2 more life, down to 7. Yeah, we are on a quick clock for sure. For sure. We can play Seraph and Foundry this turn. I kind of need a blocker for this Shieldred a little bit though. So, our options are right now to upgrade the figure to a 4/4. Doesn't do much on this board yet. Make a Retrofitter token or play Seraph. I kind of want to upgrade the figure to a 4/4 because what I'm thinking is to play Seraph next turn and give my figure lifelink. Because I think I'm going to need the life. And 4 life can go, that's 2 turns against Shieldred. We're not in a good position. We're definitely not in a good position here. Opponent plays Mox Jet. I expect they'll clamp something up. Probably the Grief is what I would clamp up. That Menace is super good. No clamp on the Grief. Interesting. No attacks either? That cannot be right. Okay, so let's make a 1/1 servo token. That's going to be a blocker that we can use. I think our opponent's just trying to wait us out. They think we're just going to draw and lose. Shield Breaker is a great draw. Our Fable goes to Chapter 3 and flips to Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Now I am going to get Seraph down, I think. Let's get Selfless Spirit down and Seraph down. That way, if they have a kill spell, I can save it. Oof, but we're going to have to pay a life to get Seraph down. Okay, maybe now is the time to make a 4/4 figure. I think it is now that I have additional blockers. So we'll take 2, we'll go down to 3. I'll have to tap the Sunbank Canyon, go down to 2. And then we give our figure lifelink. We can also just give the Selfless Spirit lifelink too for an additional 2 life. And then they played Lily. All right, well, I'm expecting that's going to uptick on the Spirit or the Servo, one of the 2. I would uptick on the Spirit here. If they do uptick on the Spirit, we'll obviously sack in response, which means our opponent has no attacks again this turn. Why they're not clamping up their Grief, I do not know. Okay, they do uptick on the Spirit, yet we will sack in response. All of our creatures get indestructible, which means our opponent has no attacks this turn. I'm thinking they probably should have waited to uptick on Lily post-combat, but it is what it is. And again, they don't equip the clamp. All right, well, we need to use our mana here, so let's make ourselves a 4/4. Paying a life down to 4. We're going to lose another 2. Go into 2. Mizzy Immortars is a good card, except for the fact that Shieldred has 5 toughness. So we need to gain life. Ooh, we also have an active reflection. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Let's play Steel Seraph. Let's reflection the Seraph. So I have two of them, and we can give figure flying and lifelink and take out this Lily. And deal 3 damage to our opponent. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll leave another mana up as well. So that'll gain us 4 life. We'll still have blockers for Shieldred. I don't know if we'll have enough blockers for like Shieldred and a Menaced Grief. Though our life is super low right now. We are right on the edge. I don't know if I want to tap this Sunbaked Canyon and go down to 1. I'm just very hesitant on how much life we'll have on a crackback. I'm not sure. I'm just not quick enough at the math here. Okay, but we are going to copy this Seraph. This is going to be key. Yep, make a copy. We do lose a blocker this way, but it's worth it because giving the figure both flying and lifelink is going to buy us just a touch of time. Again, we will auto yield on this Steel Seraph to save the time on the clock. Yeah, we're going to target figure with both of these lifelink and flying. Yep, flying and lifelink. Super cool. We will attack with the other Seraph as well. There's no reason not to. It will get sacrificed at the end of turn. Okay, so that's a punt right there for sure. The other Steel Seraph gets sacrificed at the end of turn. And so let's mark the punt counter. Those 3 lost damage we didn't get in. So now my decision is whether or not to battle display this Skull Clamp or not. And again, if we're going to have 3, I think the answer is we should, but going down to 5 life and then we'll be down to 3 life, on the draw off the Shieldred. Can I block? I would have to block using the Steel Seraph for sure. I just don't know. I think that 1 life may matter, which is why I didn't battle display the Skull Clamp. It's super close. Like, I really need every point of life. Had this Sunbaked Canyon been a regular land, I would have 100% battle displayed that clamp because our opponent only has 1 card in hand. They put Worm Coil Engine in the bin using Entomb. Okay. Yep, they gain 2 up to 26. Play a Swamp. What is their last card? Their last card is Imperial Seal. Interesting. So they're going to get whatever they want right now. Yep, they're going to clamp up the Grief. We have to block this, which means they're going to draw whatever they wanted to get with Imperial Seal. Yeah, we have to block. And we have to block with 2 creatures because of the menace. Because if we don't block, right, we're attuned, we just lose to the Shieldred trigger. See, I think they could have alpha attacked here as well, right? Like made us trade out the Seraph too, and then we would have been, I don't know where we would have been. Not in a good spot. I think that was a mistake not to attack with all right there. There was really no reason to not attack with Shieldred. Yeah, I don't know. So what are they going to play here? Recurring Nightmare. Now I get it. Okay. I mean, they still should have attacked with Shieldred, in my opinion. They're going to clamp up the Tree Speaker and then sack it to Recurring Nightmare. Yeah, gosh. Not killing that clamp is going to come back to bite us. I know it. Just our life total is just so on the ropes right now. Yeah, they're going to sack, draw 2 cards, and they're going to get a Worm Coil back out. Nizzy Mortars, great card. Doesn't do well against cards like Shieldred and Worm Coil, however. Yeah, they're going to draw. They're going to gain 4 more life. Shieldred's busted. Oh, they're getting Grief. Interesting. What do they take here? They take the Shield Breaker, right? So I don't blow up their clamp. No, they take the Mortars. Ugh. I don't know about that pick. And then they clamp up the Grief. Okay. I mean, Grief is good on this board just because of the menace, right? All right, we're down to 4 now. We draw a land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we just copy the Seraph again, or do we go to an 8/8 double striker? All right, my plan here is if we can survive 1 turn, I'm going to give this so what's nice here is this figure has flying as well. So now it's flying for strike lifelinks. We're going to get us 8 life. Which is why I pumped that up there instead of copying Seraph one more time. So we're back up to 11, which means we can actually just not block if they attack here. Take 8, go to 3, and then go down to 1 on the Shieldred trigger again. Inquisition. Okay, there goes the Shield Breaker. Yep. That Skull really should have used that when we had the chance against the Skull Clamp, but again, I couldn't do the math, right? I didn't know. I'm pretty sure we were dead on an Alpha Strike on the way back had we done that. I'm pretty sure we were dead if our opponent would have Alpha Strike had we not done it. Yep, here comes Recurring Nightmare again. They got a double attack here, right? Are they that scared of losing Shieldred? I am not going to block. This Reflection and Seraph is the only way we're still in the game. They can't believe they Recurring Nightmare pre-combat to draw cards. Now they're going to get Wurmcoil. Great. But like, I don't know. They could have easily done that post-combat and, we would have taken 4. Like, I wouldn't have blocked. What are they doing now? This looks like a -5/-5. Dismember. Yep. All right. So Seraph down, which means no more lifelink, which is kind of big. All right. Now they get in with the Shieldred. Okay. They could have sacked the Grief second main. So our opponent's just giving us every opportunity we can right now to not lose. We are down to 5, however. And Mountain, not the greatest draw. Let's get rid of this Sunbait Canyon and get a new card. Ballista. Interesting. So we can Ballista for 2. Doesn't really do anything. Okay, so this is for science. I don't know what happens when we copy the figure. Do I get an 8/8 figure or do I just get a 1/1 figure? I don't know. I will make a servo token here, as I think we just need blockers. We are at 3, right? So I can't take any damage, because if we take any damage, we're dead on our draw step. We know our opponent, one of their cards is Recurring Nightmare, which means we know that Grief can come back, which means I'm incentivized to put this Ballista on the battlefield now. I do want to see what happens here when we copy the figure. What do we get? Okay, we get a 1/1. Dang it. I was hoping we get an 8/8 flying first strike, but we do not. Good to know. We did that for science. I really didn't know how that was going to work. So I'm not going to attack with the figure because I just don't want to give our opponent 6 free life. So we will play this Walking Ballista, and I'm not going to attack with the Figure of Destiny, right? Because if they have 1 removal spell, then we're just dead. And they have 5 cards in hand. All right. Well, I don't know. We're kind of on the ropes here. I'm not sure how we get out of this one. Or if we can get out of this one. Grave Titan. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah. They don't attack. Like, this opponent's really relying on these Shieldred triggers. All right. Palace Jailer is pretty nice. Because we have 1,000,000 blockers. And guess what we can do with Reflection? So we can play this Palace Jailer and then immediately copy it with Reflection and get 2 Palace Jailer triggers. And what's important here is the Exile ability. All we got to do is just not ever give the Monarch back. So we got to get rid of this Grave Titan. They can't make more attackers. We also got to get rid of this Shieldred, right? Because we're at 1 life, which means we couldn't draw any more cards. Yep, gonna copy the Palace Jailer. We're still gonna be a blocker short. No, okay, we're not. Yeah, we can exile the Grave Titan. Good. So now they have 3 attackers and we have 4 blockers, one of which is an 8/8 first strike flying. We are not going to attack with that. That is key to keeping our opponent from attacking with like the Wurmcoil or whatever. So 2 Palace Jailer exiles, pretty nice. Let's draw here off the Monarch. Draw Plains, okay. We are hanging in there by the skin of our teeth. I wish our opponent didn't have a Skull Clamp on their side of the battlefield, but alas, they do. This is super close. Okay, they equip up their Wurmcoil. What's nice is yeah, there comes Recurring Nightmare. Okay, so they're going to sack the Wurmcoil again? Because what I can do is block with the ballista and then just like ping so that way they don't gain any life. But they immediately just equip and sack, drawing 2 more cards. What are they bringing back? The grief? Yeah, okay, I have a land in hand. So what's nice with Reflection is we are going to make a Palace Jailer copy every turn now for as long as we can. And this Retrofitter Foundry is actually quite clutch for just making blockers. Sylvan Library, huh? Plenty of life. You can definitely draw a few cards off of that. I mean, they have an active clamp. Right, they clamp up their zombie, yep. And if they attack, I will block with the figure and they can just draw their cards. Okay, they attack with 2. Probably should block the other way there, as that would have gotten rid of 1 more zombie token. So that was a punt. Punt number 2. Not sure why I blocked that way. Restoration Angel. Okay. Because now we have a Restoration Angel and we can resto the Palace Jailer again, which makes another exile trigger. Interesting. So first things first, let's see. So I need 4, 5. So we can make a servo, we can Restoration Angel, and we can activate Reflection to make another Palace Jailer. So that's kind of the plan. And we can do the servo and the resto at instant speed. So there's no reason to do that on our turn right now. Yep. Get rid of your grief. They're going to run out of creatures to bring back with Recurring Nightmare, I think. Because we've exiled 3 right now. Again, they're all under Palace Jailer Monarch trigger. So if our opponent ever gets the Monarch back, it's like game over for us. But I think we can keep them off the Monarch for at least another few turns. Do we attack now? Can I get in there? I think we could. Right? Because this Resto can make another Palace Jailer to exile, flicker our Palace Jailer to kill another token. I can make a defensive Retrofitter token. So yeah, let's get in there for the 8. And then we draw Parallax Wave. Our opponent only has tokens on their side of the battlefield. When you exile a creature token with Parallax Wave, it doesn't come back. It's just gone. We might turn this corner here. Opponent's got 8 cards in hand, though. Vraska. Okay. What are they going to target? They're going to target the Reflection, right? Yeah. Okay, well, we can save. So this is another for science. What if I resto a Reflection? What do I get it back? Or do I get the Saga back? I don't know. But what's nice is this will make another blocker as well, a 2/2 Goblin token. If it does come back as Saga. Or it just untaps our Reflection. Yes. Flicker. Okay, brings the Saga back. Okay, so we get a Goblin. We also can make a Retrofitter Foundry blocker. Recurring Nightmare, yep. The only creature in their graveyard right now is Wormcoil Engine. Okay, they're not going to attack because we do have the 3/4 blocker here. Yep. Sack it, bring the Wormcoil back. This Parallax Wave is going to really upset our opponent. I mean, it's a great draw for us. I will just make a Retrofitter Foundry token here, servo, and block. We are still at 1 life, mind you. Our opponent's at 20 with 8 cards in hand. I'm going to show you the power here. I mean, obviously you've seen the power of Reflection and Palace Jailer and Resto, but like watch what happens when we Parallax Wave here. Because then our opponent's not going to have anything to sacrifice to Recurring Nightmare. Not that they have anything in the graveyard anyways. Yeah, we get to go chapter 2. We get a Burst Lightning. Super nice. I'm going to slam Parallax Wave here. I think we're turning the corner on this game. Yep. Token goes away. Second token goes away, and I will take the Wormcoil off the board as well. And I think we can Alpha Strike here because we do have a Retrofitter Foundry activation to make a blocker, but I don't think our opponent has anything with haste. We can take Vraska off the board and just get in there for, I don't know how much damage this is, but it's a lot. Burst Lightning in hand, a little more insurance as well. Plus Parallax Wave, right? They play any creature that is a problem. I just wave it. and it goes away. Our opponent is at 5, which means they are dead next turn if they don't do something. And I don't know what they do here. Because if they like Damnation, then I just Parallax Wave our own Palace Jailer, and probably our Restoration Angel. And then we just get more Palace Jailer we get more Palace Jailer Exile triggers. Next turn. Yeah, they give up. The writing's on the wall. They couldn't do it. I cannot believe we came back from that match. That was awesome. That's got to be one of the greatest matches of Magic I've played, even with the 2 punts. Oh wow, that was such a great game. I hope you super enjoyed it. Stick around for match 2 and 3, because we're digging in here. All right, welcome to match 2. We are on the draw against Dworkin. Funny name. This hand, we can play 2 spells. This is close, but I don't know. A red mana here would go a long way. Let's mulligan this one. Send this one to the cat. This hand is not better, but it does have all the colors of mana and a Retrofitter Foundry, so I suppose we'll keep it. But we're pretty weak to removal. Turn 1 Inquisition, turn 1 Thoughtseize. It's all pretty bad for us. Wonder if the other hand would have just been better, right? Because we have, since we're on the draw, we have 3 looks to get a land. And if we do, then we had Lelia. Yeah, we probably shouldn't have mulliganed that, but it is what it is. I think aggressive mulligans are probably a good idea in the Vintage Cube. We'll lead out Foundry. We did draw Jailer, which is quite nice. And then next turn, I mean, worst case, we can just make a servo. Opponent has 2 lands into Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix really lost a lot of power over the years here. It is just not scary. Yeah, it draws you a card, but like the 1/1 Death Touch is kind of whatever. We draw another land, so we will just plan to create a servo here end of our opponent's turn. Ashiok. Now, Ashiok on this board is a problem. If we play to the board better, Ashiok's not a problem. Then they hit Zealous Conscripts and Selfless Spirit. Okay, this Ashiok is a problem, for sure. For sure, because we don't have a way to deal with this right now. Our Planeswalker interaction's a little weak for our deck. Our opponent does attack. All right. Well, we will make a Retrofitter Foundry, and then we'll just play Seraph next turn. Or we'll make a servo and play Seraph. Okay, good. We can play. So we've drawn. Let's see. No, we've drawn Palace Jailer and 2 lands. We'll play Vantage, and then just play Seraph, right? And I guess give our servo lifelink. This we got to get through this Baleful Strix to get this Ashiok down. Because we got a lot of great cards, and I don't want this Ashiok down ticking. I wish there was a better way. Like, that's such an ugly way to do prototype, and MTGO just says, like, Steel Seraph is white in, like, blue text, and I don't know. It's not great. Yep, we'll give our token lifelink. I don't think 1 life will matter, but you never know, as you saw from our last match. We'll get in there and hit Ashiok. Now, Ashiok's going to uptick again. As long as our opponent does nothing, we can Palace Jailer away this Baleful Strix and, you know, have a better beat on Ashiok. They uptick and they get Fury. Oh, man. I would have loved to have drawn Fury. That's a huge problem. They attack with the Baleful Strix, which tells me, yeah, we're not blocking. They have some sort of removal spell in hand, I think. Yeah, Ravenous Chupacabra. That's a problem. So both those are really bad Palace Jailer targets. Elvish Norn's a good card, but you know, there's my theory coming to bite us. Not a good card on turn 4 when we're behind on board, facing down an Ashiok. I mean, if we had 7 mana now to slam, we would, but so our opponent, there's really no good Palace Jailer Exile options here. I guess we take the Baleful Strix because I don't want them getting a free Chupacabra trigger. Because they have the flyer with the Baleful Strix, but they can just downtick on Fury next turn and get a Fury out. And that'll clear the board. Then they can attack, and they'll get the Monarch back. Yeah, not looking good. This Ashiok's really doing a number on us. Restoration Angel's a start, but again, we're not going to have a Palace Jailer next turn. I guarantee it. They got a downtick on the Ashiok here for 5. They do. Yep, Ashiok goes to 1, so here comes the Fury. This is about as good as Ashiok could be. So, like, Ashiok's not a great planeswalker as long as you play to the board. Because if you play to the board, you can pressure Ashiok. It really doesn't do it. Ashiok doesn't do anything. Our hand we had was just not playing to the board well enough, not fast enough. And so, our opponent's on the play so that, getting down an Ashiok on basically an empty board was really good for them. So this is really on us, right? Like, maybe had we kept our first hand, we would have been able to better beat this Ashiok, because we would have had things like the Figure of Destiny and possibly the Adelon. Yeah, they get their Bayful back. They draw a card. They get the Monarch. I'm not sure what gets us back into this. Intrepid Adversaries start, but we can't block this Fury. We can at least flash in this Restoration Angel and like ambush the Ravenous Chupacabra, and then we can kill the Ashiok on the crackback potentially. Yeah, they get another nice hits there. They have Zealous Conscripts and Student and Selfless Spirit under the Ashiok right now. Swinging in for 6. Okay, they don't attack with a Bayful Strix, which was kind of smart to protect their Ashiok. I'm still going to flash in this Restoration Angel, I think. We click to the block step, which is no bueno. Once you go to block step, you can't flash something in and block something. And they play Evolved Sleeper, huh? So that was a pseudo point, just because clicking through our step there was no good. I would have liked to have at least ambushed this Chupacabra, been up 2 more life. So we'll call that punt 3. Man, can't click through your steps. MTGO foul right there for sure. Yeah, feels bad, right? The resto with no targets. We're 2 mana away from this Elish Norn. Swords to Plowshares, not bad though. I'd love to Swords to Plowshares this Fury. But we have to Swords to Plowshares this Bayful Strix, which feels super bad. Just because we need to get this Ashiok off the board. We can at least play Fury and pump it up a single time, making it a 4/2 lifelink, and that life will probably matter this game. And then if we draw a land, we can Elish Norn. So we're not out of it yet, but I wouldn't say we're definitely in it either, for sure. It will feel nice to get this Ashiok off the battlefield. But Ashiok's already done a number on us, basically putting Fury on the battlefield for our opponent for free, saving him, 4 life here. Ashiok did its job. All right, I think, yeah, we hope to rip a land next turn. 6, 7. So we don't have to block the Fury. We could take 8 off Fury and Chupacabra. They're upgrading their Evolved Sleeper, which makes sense. I will trade Intrepid Adversary and Evolved Sleeper for sure. Evolved Sleeper, one of those, a card I called out for the Dominaria United release that I thought was pretty good in my top 5 video. Okay, they Treachery. Yeah, that'll do it, because then we have no blockers. Great card against us. We were just behind too much on board. Let's go to game 2. All right, game 2, match 2. We're on the play. We got a Clamp and a Student and an Intrepid Adversary and a Ballista and our 7-drop. We will keep this. Sorry, Mulligan. No food for you here. Lead out on Student and pass it. See what our opponent leads out with here. As you can see, this hand's much stronger against if they were to go Ashiok. I mean, obviously we're on the play, so that's an advantage for us. But we'd have ways to get rid of Ashiok's loyalty for sure. Crypt Breaker, turn 1, huh? Alrighty. If we draw plains, okay, Flooded Strand is a plains. I will just upgrade, level up this student to a 3/3 first strike. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be dealing with some graveyard shenanigans here out of this Crypt Breaker. Chrome Mox, what do they exile with that? Mystic Confluence. Okay, so it taps for blue. So they have Crypt Breaker activation open right now, which means we got to remember if we attack, they can just make a 2/2 zombie at instant speed. Do we just play this Walking Ballista on 1 next turn? Maybe. Let's see what we draw. Conscripts. Yeah, let's play this Walking Ballista on 1. I'm going to force our opponent to activate their Crypt Breaker now. I'm sure they will. We can safely attack here because they cannot double block because we can just activate Ballista. The problem is, what are they going to discard and what are they going to reanimate, right? Definitely another punt here. We should either level up the student to level 3 or play the Skull Clamp with this available white mana. All right, so they put Grave Titan in the yard, which is super annoying. I will take care of the Crypt Breaker, and they get a 2/2. Yeah, and we're in our end step. So another punt there. Punt counter getting kind of high this match. This league. I'm playing my best here, though. We're playing my best. Like, you know, it is what it is. Never give up, though, right? Exhume. Yeah, okay, well, that's really awkward with the Walking Ballista in our graveyard. So opponent immediately just puts 10 power on the board, and now we have a problem. Should definitely have a Skull Clamp here. Burst Lightning, huh? Not enough to deal with a Grave Titan. I mean, it is if I clamp up my student and attack and they block with the Grave Titan. So sometimes I think that's our play. Like, I'm not playing maybe we just play Intrepid Adversary, though. We could also play Intrepid Adversary and just leave Intrepid Adversary back to block. I don't know. Let's hope they just block here. It may have been better. I don't know. If we let our opponent attack with the Grave Titan, like, we're losing. We're kind of losing this way anyways. If they block with Grave Titan here, they are... Yeah, I knew there was no way, right? Our student does have first strike, which is important to note. They are going to block with the Grave Titan? There's no reason to do this. They should just take 4. Wow. Wow, that was like best case for us and worst case for them. I don't understand that play at all. Sometimes your opponent just punts. I think the conservative play there would have been to just play Intrepid Adversary and double block and equip up the... Well, no, we couldn't. They reanimate. All right, maybe that's why they did it, because they knew they were just going to get their Grave Titan back, and now they have 5 zombie tokens. Okay. Land drawing for us is the bet. Okay, good. There is a land, which means we can play Intrepid Adversary, and I wish we could double pump this to make our student a 6 power first striker. Unfortunately, we cannot. So our only play here, leveling up does nothing because it just gets us to level 6. Our only play here is to Intrepid Adversary kicked once. Give us 4 power lifelinker, which is not irrelevant because we do need some life here. And a 5 power first striker, also not irrelevant. Our opponent's got a million power of zombies over there on the other side of the battlefield. They just alpha strike here, right? Like, that's the correct play. Yes. And the Grave Titan. You have to attack with the Grave Titan here. There's too much value. Like, yes, you lose your Grave Titan, but I have to double block to kill it, and you hit me down to 1. I mean, okay, then I go back up to 5 because we got lifelink, but, like, I don't know what they're considering here. I am also happy for them to just not attack me. They just want to attack with the Grave Titan? Again, this makes no sense. I will double block this. We will draw 2 cards, we will gain 4 life and be at 15. There's no reason that our opponent should not have attacked with the zombie tokens there. They're basically free. The Grave Titan has created all of those. I don't understand that play, but I will take it. And let's see if we can capitalize here. So we'll lose both our creatures. We will draw 2. What do we draw? I mean, if we draw into a land, that's helpful with Zealous Conscripts. We draw into Jite. If we can live, Fury. Now, Fury was an amazing draw. That will take care of 2 zombie tokens, and it's a great blocker because of the double strike. Get out of here, zombie tokens. We could be at 5 right now, and our opponent would attack. We could only block 1, right? Then we'd be dead because they get in for 8 damage. Yeah, definitely a punt on our opponent for not alpha striking last turn. I appreciate them giving us additional, lifelines here. Lily is not going to do it. Lily's a little annoying because now I really don't have a blocker. I don't want to trade my Fury for these zombie tokens because this Jite in hand is pretty sweet with double strike. Again, they only attack with 3. Our opponent is super conservative in their attacks here. Sometimes, you just need to press your advantage and kill your opponent. Okay, stop giving me draw steps to get out of this. Land. Now we're 1 land away from Elishnorn, which would invalidate all of our opponent's zombie tokens, right? So I definitely want a Jite here just because the Jite counters are very valuable. And we can clamp up our Fury as well in case it happens to die. In theory, they double block with the 2 zombie tokens here. Maybe they just block with 1. I don't know necessarily what the right answer is. They just block with 1. Okay, we will only get 1 kind of, Jite activation here because there's nothing else to kill with the regular damage. So we just get the first strike on the double strike there. That made sense. But I will take 2 Jite counters. Thank you. Jite counters are a lifeline. I mean, it's represents 4 life right there. All right, so looks like they're going to mill 2 and probably put Grave Titan back in their hand, which they can cast. They do. Grave Titan goes back to their hand. Here it comes back down. This is the 3rd time Grave Titan's hit the battlefield. So it's made 6 tokens. I think we'll need to Zealous Conscripts their Grave Titan just to make blockers. All right, we go to 1. I'm happy to go to 1. We do have Jite counters, which means we're really at 5. Fable's a decent draw. So here we Zealous Conscripts. We'll move the clamp over onto the conscripts. I think. Because our opponent, didn't downtick or uptick on our Fury. We will steal the Grave Titan here because I need the zombie blockers. We could steal Liliana, and downtick, but for what? It's not going to do anything for us. Maybe we could have gotten Student back in hand as a blocker. I would rather attack with this Grave Titan and make some zombie tokens. Yep, and we're gonna attack Lily too. I'm happy to get more Jite tokens on this Fury. I guess. Yeah, I'm not gonna attack with the Zealous Conscripts. We need the Zealous Conscripts back as a blocker, I believe, still, because there's enough zombie tokens on the battlefield that I think we need every blocker we can get. This life on the Jite token is gonna keep us in this, though. Maybe we should have attacked with the Zealous Conscript. I'm not sure here. It's probably just smarter to leave the conscript, leave her back. Oh, and they don't block. Okay, well, I still get Jite counters. Now we have 3 blockers and 8 life, so we're up at 9. And I'm going to put the clamp on a token that I know I'm going to block with. Just to draw the cards. Because remember, 1 more land and all of our opponent's zombie tokens are irrelevant with this Elishnorn. And this is why I like having a card like Elishnorn. Specifically Elishnorn. Elishnorn is so good. Our opponent just needs the Alpha Strike here. We are at 1. We're technically at 9. I block the Grave Titan and block the other things and take 6. So then we're down to 3. if they Alpha Strike. They play Oblivion Stone, which they cannot activate this turn. Interesting. No attacks. Wow. Our opponent playing super conservatively. With the equipment we have on the battlefield, like every turn is better for us. I'm actually going to kill our own zombie token here because I want the 2 cards. Because I want a 7th land. All right, well, that one comes into play tapped. Dang it. Swords to Plowshares. Dang it. All right, well, I guess next turn we can have Elish Norn. This turn, do we just Palace Jailer a zombie token here? And like Swords to Plowshares, the Grave Titan? Make that thing gone forever because it's an exile? I think so. And then we can clamp up like our zombie token. I want to, the Oblivion Stone is kind of a random. Did not expect to see that there. If our opponent wants the Oblivion Stone while we have the Monarch, happy for that. So I am just going to take a token here as putting the Grave Titan under the Palace Jailer in exile is kind of better for our opponent. It saves it from their own Oblivion Stone. And I think we still get in here with the Fury just for they can't really block with the Grave Titan. The Fury's just too strong with that double strike. So they would probably just trade with a zombie token. Yeah, I'm just going to equip up this zombie token here and attack with the Fury. See, this is why GT is just such a good card because it is so versatile. The life gain can matter. The -1/-1 is also awesome. And so is giving your equipped creature +2/+2. It's just like it's such a Swiss Army knife of utility that it's so difficult for your opponent to deal with it like fairly. They just have to destroy the GT, right? Because once GT gets going, it's kind of hard to stop. Okay, they are finally Alpha Striking. This smells like an Oblivion Stone activation to me. In which case, I think we need the swords, this Grave Titan anyways. I'm tired of it coming back to the battlefield. We're definitely going to, well, let's see here. We could take 4. Well, we can just gain life, right? I guess I don't need to swords. Yeah, we don't need the swords here. We can just gain life, take 2 counters off the GT, still have 3 counters on the GT. This is going to give them the Monarch, but we are drawing 2 more cards. And our Zealous Conscript's still active, right? So we should get, wow, no land in those 2 either. Interesting. Are they activating O-Stone now? They are activating O-Stone. Okay, we'll gain 6 off of our GT counters and GT goes away. And then if they do some weird reanimate, you know what, I'm going to, because we don't have that 7th land, I'm just going to swords this Grave Titan now. A 7th land in hand, I wouldn't. I would just probably wait to see if they try to reanimate it. Because the Elish Norn would take care of the zombie tokens. But this game's actually closer than I like. And our opponent is still just giving us lifelines here. That O-Stone's weird. Like, I guess they can't really beat GT and Fury, unfortunately, and Skull Clamp. So they want to kind of level the playing field here a little bit. Our Lion Sash is looking really good, though. Luris, huh? That's not that scary. They have no, they can Luris the Chrome Mox. But they have no cards in hand to exile under it, so does nothing. Okay. All right, well, there's land 7. We just slam Elish Norn here. No, I don't think so. Our opponent has 1 card in hand. I think we get some creatures on the battlefield and then Elish Norn next turn. And I want to get Lion Sash, Figure, and Fable down. Our opponent has no, I guess they could put the Crypt Breaker, bring the Crypt Breaker back. So let's get rid of that. Actually, no, we can play Figure. I just want to make sure we have 1 white mana up for Lion Sash activation. That way, if they somehow get something in their yard and they have a reanimate spell, we can just get rid of it. Evolve Sleeper. Well, that's pretty good when you have a bajillion mana. Okay, they get in there. We just take this, I think. Go to 4, and that's fine. The other option is to block with the Shaman token. But I like my Shaman token. Our creature's going to be really good when we slam Elesh Norn here. It was good to remember, their Evolve Sleeper, they can activate at instant speed. So that's why they don't need to do it on their turn. We will discard this Jetmir's Garden. Don't need that mountain. Okay, well, we just slam Elesh Norn here and hold up some planes for Lion Sash. And that should be really close to lethal. They can upgrade their Evolve Sleeper quite a few times here, I think. At least out of Elesh Norn range. They can make it a 4/4 with Death Touch, which is pretty important. There goes Lurrus to the bin. See ya, Lurrus. And we got some strongish creatures here. I just want to attack, I think, with... I don't want to trade my Lion Sash. This Lion Sash is too good. We can pump up the figure if they don't block. And then that's 8 damage. And then we still hold up. We have 2 activations for Lion Sash available here. Now, this Evolve Sleeper can get pretty big. I suppose if they want to attack with this Evolve Sleeper, we'll just block with the Lion Sash and probably trade with it. And then we got him on the crackback because of this Elesh Norn. All right, so they're pumping up the Sleeper, drawing cards, losing life. They can do this 2 more times, make their Evolve Sleeper a 5/5. We can also make our Lion Sash a 5/5. So I'm okay with this. Yep. I'm not sure what they're looking for in blue-black. They need a removal spell for this Elesh Norn. Now they have no mana left. Yep, we got there on the back of Elesh Norn and Lion Sash and Jite and Fury. So let's head into game 3. All right, welcome to game 3. We are on the draw. This hand, a little slow. It's just a single card we can play, Selfless Spirit. So we'll send that one to Mulligan as well. This one we'll keep on the back of Mirror. Fable here. Fable is just so good. Hopefully we don't, lose to, I think Ashiok was this match here. We'll see. Maybe this wasn't a great keep either. I don't know. We get, our opponent just goes Ashiok turn 3. We may just lose. I really dislike going to 5. I mean, everyone does, right? So our opponent Chrome Moxes, so they're ramping out a little bit. What do they exile? Suspicious Stowaway, huh? Into a Baleful Strix. I would have gone the other way and just put the Baleful Strix under the Chrome Mox and cast Suspicious Stowaway. I think it's a better card. Jetmir's Garden, we will play tapped. And just hope our opponent doesn't just steamroll us here. If we get turned to Ashiok, it'd be pretty bad. They cycle Zagoth Triumph main phase. At minimum, they should have done that on our turn, like at our end step. So I'll take it. Ooh, Lion Sash. Yes. Okay. I'm going to fetch here. I don't want to draw. Let's just thin the deck slightly. Get ourselves some planes, and we'll slam Lion Sash. Now, I don't think I'll play Fable on 3, just because holding up Lion Sash activations against this opponent's probably pretty good. Yeah, especially when they play Crypt Breaker. So we're going to have to just take this a little slower and take the line that's going to make sure we don't just lose. Draw another planes. Okay, so yeah, we'll just play Inspiring Vantage and pass. We can get down Fable next turn. But this means our opponent, can't reanimate anything. As we have 3 activations that we can do with Lion Sash. Now, if they kill our Lion Sash right now, then that's a problem. We didn't see a lot of removal. We saw Ravenous Chupacabra Braids. Okay. We can Braids here. I think we can beat Braids. That is going to make us sack a land. I want to keep this Lion Sash like on the stack, if you will, for as long as possible. Get the land out of their graveyard. Probably get the land out of our graveyard as well. As this Lion Sash on its own is pretty good. We will sack a land here. I am not going to get rid of this Lion Sash. See, now there you go. Here's Retrofitter Foundry showing you why it's a good card. Because our opponent played Braids, and we can just make a servo to sack to the Braids trigger. And we don't have to make that decision until, the last possible second, because we can activate this Retrofitter Foundry at instant speed. So we can just hold up either Lion Sash activation or make a servo. I would like to make a servo. So as long as our opponent doesn't go for some reanimation effect, we can make a servo, sack the servo to the Braids trigger, and then get Fable down, which will, just make more things for us to have on the battlefield. And so I like that a lot. Now they have to sack something. They just sack Braids. Fine. Totally fine. There are two permanents that we can... I kind of want to make a servo here just in case there's something like a Liliana of the Veil, like an Edict effect. I don't want to just lose my best creature, which is the Lion Sash. So I will probably make a servo here end of turn. Having more creatures on the battlefield against black is pretty good just because of those effects. Like Liliana of the Veil, make your opponent sack a creature. I don't want to sack this Lion Sash. All right. Clamp. See, here you go. Clamp Retrofitter Foundry. It's a combo. But we're going to get Fable down, and we're going to hold up our Lion Sash activation. I'm not going to attack right now because our opponent can make a zombie at instant speed with Crypt Breaker and then double block our Sash. We could pump the Sash to a 4/4, but I don't want to. I want to hold up this Plains, this white source, for anything scary that they put in the yard. Yeah, they just discard a Swamp. Because they know that we can exile their reanimation targets. Okay, at their instep, we'll exile the Braids. And now this Skull Clamp's looking really nice. The fact that we can make servo tokens here. Ooh, Intrepid Adversary. We can pump our team as well. We can't get through the Bayful Strix right now. We will just ditch this land. Got another land white source, though, which is good. Here we can do a lot of things. I'm gonna get in there with the Goblin token. So the question is, do we probably Skull Clamp up the token and then move the Skull Clamp over to the servo? We could also get Intrepid Adversary down and just pump once, but I want to wait just a touch longer, I think. So yeah, let's clamp up this Goblin. Get in there. They don't block, great. We make a mana. It's kind of mana neutral this way. They do block. I'm happy for that as well because I would like more cards. They don't block. Okay. So we can just clamp up this servo now. Draw 2 cards. And still have 3 white mana available for this Lion Sash. And then we can also Retrofitter Foundry, make another servo at our opponent's end step. So kind of showing you the power of the ability to make these 1/1 tokens off the Foundry. We draw Swords and Parallax Wave. Heck yes. Heck yes. Yeah, let's clamp up the Sash here, as it's most likely if our opponent has a kill spell, they're going to target this Lion Sash, and I'd like to get value off of it. Probably shouldn't have sacked the treasure there. Probably should have just kept the treasure, but c'est la vie. So Parallax Wave seems like a great play next turn. So does Intrepid Adversary. We really have a lot of great options. I will not tap out, though. I will always leave white mana up for Lion Sash. Yeah, no attacks from the opponent. Go to their end step. We will just Lion Sash. Make this thing a monster. Palace Jailer. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So let's wave here first, I suppose. Get rid of this Bathel Strix, get rid of this zombie token, and then just start getting in there. I'm going to wave this Crypt Breaker as well. I think if they want to make a 2/2, they have to do it now, and I want to just get in there for damage. Basically put our opponent on a 2-turn clock here. They don't activate. Okay, awesome. So we'll get in for 9. And again, we will hold up this white mana just in case our opponent's up to Reanimator shenanigans. The clock is becoming an issue. We are slightly ahead. Ooh, they snuff out, huh? Yeah, and this is why we clamped up the Lion Sash. Yeah, clock is becoming an issue. We have a little bit more time than our opponent. Now, this is a cool move, I think. I'm going to Parallax Wave our own Lion Sash just because the Lion Sash is so important to shutting down what our opponents trying to do, and that's Reanimator shenanigans. And we do still have the Parallax Wave, the Swords to Plowshares in hand. So if they try to do something crazy, we can just Swords that creature. The next most likely target for removal spell is Reflection. Of note, by Parallax Waving our own Lion Sash, we did not get to draw cards because it didn't die. Opponent appears to be stuck on mana a little bit as well, which is unfortunate. They want a Blood Chief's Thirst. All right. We will draw off of that. And now we just have more mana and more cards than our opponent. So it's looking pretty good for us. Nothing to Zealous Conscripts target yet. But we can Lion Sash here a couple times. Intrepid Adversary kick a couple times. And still have white mana up for Swords to Plowshares. This makes our attacks a lot more effective and lethal. And we'll get in there. Could have clamped up this Goblin Shaman token. We should probably clamp up the Intrepid Adversary here. It's likely, again, if they have removal in hand, that is the target. We don't. Okay. I don't know if I like that play. Like, it's fine. We're holding up Burst Lightning and Swords to Plowshares this way. We do remember that they're going to get their creatures back here at our Parallax Wave, but we will get Lion Sash back as well. All right, Lily comes down. Lily looks really bad on this board because that will not kill our Intrepid Adversary. All right, so Parallax Wave is going to go away. We're going to get our creatures back. They're going to get their creatures back and draw a card. I like our creatures a little bit better. Get rid of their Death Toucher here. And now we can Palace Jailer the Crypt Breaker, still hold up Swords to Plowshares and Lion Sash activations. We can get this Lily out of here. And get in for 3. And I think the door is closing quite quickly here on our opponent. We should, I think, clamp up the Lion Sash. Yep. As again, that's probably their target for removal. But now there's a lot of targets they need to take care of. Ooh, and Walking Ballista is probably just going to be game. Treachery, huh? All right, well, I don't want them to untap, so we're going to Swords to Plowshares our own adversary. Why, right? Like, because now they don't get to untap their lands. And I am not afraid. Like, they need to be afraid of our board. They don't have a board, and they just use their turn. They just use their turn to get rid of the Lion Sash. Yeah, there's Elishnorn. We could do it with Conscripts plus Skull Clamp. We could do it with Walking Ballista for 4. We could win this game a number of ways. Great games here by the opponent, but we take the match down. Let's head into match 3, see if we can score that trophy. Match 3, we are on the play against Smitty MTG. Let's keep this on the back of Urza's Saga. We can go Jetmir's Garden turn 1, Urza's Saga turn 2. Unfortunately, we Don't have anything to play off of that 2 mana with Urza Saga on the battlefield, but we'll see how it goes here. We may just play Adeline turn 1. I'm sorry, on turn 3 instead of making a Saga token. Not sure. All right, opponent cracks a Misty. Great card. Goes and gets a Volcanic Island. All right, well, yeah, we'll just get the Saga down, get that ticking up. What I'll probably do is play Adeline next turn because we can go fetch something like Skull Clamp with the Saga, and like Skull Clamp on our Adeline tokens will be pretty nice. Ooh, Mox Ruby, huh? And Savannah. All right. 4 colors over there. I like it. Dak Faden. Now that changes things a little bit, doesn't it? Do we Burst Lightning the Dak Faden here to get it down to 2? I don't know. So now I'm much more incentivized to play this Adeline. Because Dak can just steal the construct tokens. Though, like, that does downtick on the Dak. Like, I don't know here. Yeah, Dak is definitely not what you want to see when you have a Saga on the battlefield. I mean, if we had some board presence here, like any 2 mana play into like, I don't know, like some sort of creature, it'd be a lot better because we get the Dak Faden out. Wow, they have a Mox Sapphire as well. Double Mox on color. And they put Coma and Birds of Paradise in the bin. Interesting. We draw a land. Okay. Yeah, I think I just want to get Adeline down here. And then we'll see if we make a construct token or not next turn. This Dak's really warping the board for sure. Yep, they uptick again. And again, this is showing you the importance of playing to the board. Like, had we had a turn 2 play, like, we could probably kill Dak next turn. You know, like, Burst Lightning their blocker or whatever. Get rid of a Braid, huh? Yeah, they're pretty confident that they're going to steal whatever we get from this Urza's Saga. There's a Badland, so that's 5 colors. They play Kroxa. We will ditch a land and just take the 3 life. Dak doing a good job putting things in the yard for their Kroxa. Let's see what we draw here. We drew a Plains, huh? All right, I am going to make a Construct token here as that pumps our Adeline, and I think we can deal enough damage. Do we take Clamp or Foundry, though, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think I want them having Clamp. We can kill Dak this turn because we will attack Dak with the Adeline and the token for 3 damage and then finish him off with Burst Lightning. It's very important when you attack with Adeline that you don't auto-yield because you want to be able to select. Yep. So I'm declaring attackers. On the stack now is to make the soldier, but then it's going to ask you choose a player or planeswalker to attack, which we just did, and we click on Dak to make sure that we're attacking Dak. Maybe it's better to not kill Dak this turn because they're at 1. They can't steal our Skull Clamp. Like, maybe it's better to just draw off the Clamp. I don't know, but I want to get Dak off the battlefield, I think. So that's what I was thinking about there. We'll just get Dak out of here. And then plan to clamp up these human tokens next turn. All right, opponent plays an Overgrown Tomb untapped. So that's scary. They need the mana for some reason. And they bring back Kroxa. Kroxa is a good blocker on this board. We will just ditch another land. Hopefully we can just clamp up this soldier and get, like Swords to Plowshares. Drawing a Plains was not great. So we'll start here with clamping up this human token. 2 more lands. Wow. We can draw again off the Sunbaked Canyon. Or we can just clamp up Adeline and like get in there. Because I know they'll block Adeline, right? Now, do we attack with just Adeline or we attack with the construct? I think we attack with just Adeline here and just tell them, like, this is telegraphing to block. I don't know if I like attacking with a construct token because they can just eat the construct token. Yeah, they want to block Adeline. As we're going to get 2 more cards. Retrofitter Foundry and Shield Breaker, huh? I'm really looking for a removal spell for this Croxa. Mizium Mortars. Mizium Mortars would do it if we had 2 more mana. We haven't done a land drop yet for turn, but yeah, we can't get this Croaks off the battlefield, which means that's definitely going to represent some life loss. Play Retrofitter Foundry. Maybe it's better to kill one of these Moxen with Ember Shieldbreaker. I don't know. Parallax Wave can come down next turn and stabilize us, though, for sure. Because when the Croxa comes back, it'll go, since it didn't escape, it'll just go back to the graveyard. But we're taking a big chunk of life here. Niv Mizzet. All right. Kudos to Smitty MTG over there. Playing a Niv Mizzet deck. And they get Edric, Knight of Autumn, and Vraska. All great hits. Especially that Knight of Autumn, right? With our Skull Clamp and our Retrofitter Foundry. Not to mention that there's a 6/6 flyer on the battlefield right now. Well, we have to play Parallax Wave as it's the only way we survive next turn. But we're going to lose our Clamp or our Foundry. I mean, if we play Parallax Wave, they can just destroy it with Knight of Autumn too. Ugh. And then get their stuff back. Get double Niv Mizzet triggers. But I don't see any other way, right? Like, we could attack with the Construct and they block. We Mizium Mortars. We already play a land this turn. Turn 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We haven't. They could block and then we Mizium Mortars. Their Niv Mizzet. There's no way they block here, right? And then we also cast Parallax Wave to take their Croaks out. But that, I don't know. I hope they block here. I'd want to draw cards and kill their Niv Mizzet. They do not. Okay, we will Parallax Wave then. And unfortunately, this is just going to buy us 1 turn. And we are going to have to probably ditch a card, like a real card, to the Croxa, because we are at 5. This just means they're going to get double Niv Mizzet triggers, so it's pretty good. So they should attack here before playing anything. Yep, they go to combat. We will take care of both of these creatures. I expect to see their Knight of Autumn here. Yep. Targeting Parallax Wave, right? Yes. All right, there's no other good targets for us to use these other 3 counters on, so we'll just let that get destroyed. And here's another trigger on our opponent's Niv. So Croxa will go to the graveyard, yep, because it wasn't escapade. What do they hit this time? Olivia and Scarab God. Ugh. I don't know how we're beating all those threats. Because Olivia can come down and put Coma into the play. Just kind of scary. I need another Parallax Wave. Yeah, here's Vraska. That's going to downtick, I assume. On the Skull Clamp. Yep, that's pretty smart. Don't let us draw any more cards. Resto, huh? I don't even think that does it, right? Our opponent just plays Olivia, and then they get in there with a bajillion. And we can block the Niv Mizzet. We may be able to survive 1 more turn. Unfortunately, the Mizium Mortars doesn't do anything for us here. And overloaded. And we would still just die to the Olivia. Bringing back something like Coma, I think. I guess we wouldn't die. Yeah. Unfortunate here. I do not see a way around this. If this Mizzium Mortars was a Winds of Abandon, that'd be a lot better. I think that's just it. So let's go on to the next game, shall we? All right, here we are, game 2. We are on the play this time. 2 3-drops. I don't know. We are playing against a Niv Mizzet opponent. I don't know if this hand is fast enough to keep on the play, potentially. Like, right if they go, like, Signet on turn 2 or Mox Signet, then we can get them with this temporary lockdown. But it's a little sketch. Yeah, we'll send this one to the cat. This one's better. But we don't have a second white for prototype on the Seraph, huh? It's better in the fact that we have 3 playable cards. But I am going to lead out Mountain here, even though this doesn't hold up swords, just in case there's like a strip mine. And I will go Walking Ballista on turn 2, because if Dak tries to steal it, we can just finish Dak off. So Dak can't really steal a Walking Ballista as Dak's first activation. All right, opponent plays Zayatoria's Proving Ground. We draw land, and it's not a plains. So we'll get Walking Ballista down like we planned. And I hope to just draw I don't even know. If we draw a white source, like, it's pretty good for our opponent to steal our Seraph, right? They Signet, huh? Okay. Maybe it would have been better to keep. Oh, there's a white source. I guess we just got to go for it, right? If they have Dak, they have Dak. Maybe that's not the right play. Maybe the right play is to, like, sack our Sunbait Canyon to draw another card. Not sure. If they Dak our Steel Seraph here, it's going to feel pretty bad, because we could have been a little more patient. It's so hard to have patience when you're playing Magic, right? Well, I mean, like, playing a slower game to play around certain things your opponent could do. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not right. Our opponent with 7 cards in hand feels pretty bad to our 3, considering we have 2 additional lands, right? I guess they don't have blue yet. They Knight of Autumn, which is about just as bad as Dak, right? Because it just does the same thing. It kills the Seraph. Okay. We need some action. Like a Palace Jailer off the top would be amazing right now. Lion Sash, huh? Also an artifact that Dak can steal, coincidentally. I suppose we Lion Sash and kill the Knight of Autumn. I guess we don't have to kill the Knight of Autumn yet. And then this starts to put things in the graveyard for us to pump our Lion Sash up. But our opponent playing Dak is, like, just super scary. Coincidentally enough, everything we've played so far has been an artifact. So we do have a decent amount of artifacts in our deck. We still have Skull Clamp and Retrofitter Foundry, and Lion Sash and Walking Ballista and Steel Seraph. A lot of good Dak targets here. And then there is the blue source, Ragavan Triumph, for Dak. But we have no other option. Like, if I just play around Dak, like, I'm just not going to be playing my spells. And that is a good way to not win as well. So I will plan to crack this Sunbait Canyon here, end of turn. We need to draw some action. The 6 cards in our opponent hand is very scary. Magus of the Order, huh? That may be a Swords to Plowshares target, as Knight of Autumn is green, and so is Niv Mizzet. So they could Magus for Niv Mizzet. But that would mean they'd have to sacrifice both their creatures, which may be okay, right? Like, and then we just Swords to Plowshares the Niv Mizzet. It's an option. I think right now, I guess the safer pick is to remove a counter on the Ballista to kill Knight of Autumn. And then that way there's not a green creature for Magus to sack. And if our opponent plays a green creature next turn, we can always respond with Swords of Plowshares in response. on the Magus, so they again can't sack. But again, it might just be worth it to save swords for problem creature like Niv Mizzet. And then even better, we can we can get in here because we can pump. And then I'm only going to pump once, which is kind of a tell. Maybe we shouldn't have pumped it all and saved the 3 mana for the figure instead. I'm not sure. All right, not blue. Still don't want to have Dak steal our stuff. Broxa, huh? I guess we use it or lose it, right? So we will Swords to Plowshares now. Otherwise, we'd lose it anyways. And now we got 5 cards to our opponent's, or we got no cards to our opponent's FOF. And then they abrade the figure. Yeah, if we could have held up a figure activation, which may have been better, right? So that may have been a misplay for sure. We like not a punt, but probably a better line, I think, to have the ability to pump our figure to a 4/4. Now we can exile this Croxa, so it won't be coming back. But we need to draw some action here. Plains, huh? Well, this means we can draw a card off the Sunbait Canyon for sure. Student's not bad. I think Dak is still just such a blowout, right? Dak Faden, such a card, right? Like it's just on my mind all the time. This game, I don't know how to play around it. I don't know how to play, into it. Maybe we are playing into it right now. There's blue. There's Dak. Yep. Okay. So now they have a 4/4 Lion Sash. At least we can get Dak off the battlefield, but what's our best draw now? Lelia? Ragavan's not bad. We're going to dash Ragavan here. I should probably dash Ragavan before leveling up the student, right? Because we can kill Dak either way. So let's dash Ragavan attacking our opponent, and then student attacks Dak. And depending on what we exile here, Forest, that's not exciting. We will just level up the student to a 3/3 here. Now, this does mean our opponent probably will not attack with a Lion Sash, or they'll do something to block a Ragavan. We're still in it, but I really wish we had the Lion Sash and not our opponent. As there's a lot of permanents in the graveyards here and our opponent has white, 4 white mana sources right now. I guess technically 3 because I have to use one of them to activate the Boros Signet. So like this Lion Sash could be a 7/7. Green Sun for 1. What is that for? Birds of Paradise. Oh, they must have Niv Mizzet in hand. Fable's a good draw. We cannot attack with the student still, but Fable is at least going to allow us to ditch this Ragavan, which is not doing anything anymore. And hopefully we could get something like Parallax Wave. Parallax Wave would be great. I'm not sure what happens if you exile the Lion Sash with Parallax Wave, and then when it goes away, do we get the Lion Sash back, or does our opponent? I don't know. Yeah, this feels like a Niv Mizzet. It is. On the fact that Niv Mizzet, their deck's built to draw a bunch of cards here, it's also just a 6/6 flyer. They get Scarab God and Vraska and Edric, huh? All great hits. Like, I don't know how we beat Scarab God. And Vraska can kill any of our permanents right now. Ooh, now Fury's good, but it's not enough, right? It's not enough. Ugh. There it is. There's Parallax Wave. Okay. I mean, this is going to buy us some time. Vraska can't destroy Parallax Wave. Do we use a counter on the birds as well? I don't know. We probably should. But they have 5 mana either way to play stuff like Scarab God. And I think I want to just keep these Parallax Wave counters on as long as possible. Let's see what they do here. Mox Ruby. So opponent casts Eladramri's Call. And they get Fury. Yeah, okay. If we would have Parallax Wave the Birds of Paradise last turn, they wouldn't have mana for this. Because now they're going to hard cast Fury, and I can't do anything about it now. So that's probably going to go all at the student. Yep. Luckily, we have our own Fury in hand to clean up that board. And our Fable's going to flip. So if we can survive another turn, we can have multiple Furies going. Restoration Angel, also a good target for Fury. So we're just going to slam Fury here, as it'll take care of their Fury and their birds. And we have enough time left with this Parallax Wave that I think we may be able to slip in here. Get in for 2. And then see what our opponent's going to do here. Now, Vraska can kill our Reflection. I'm not entitled to take any more counters off the Parallax Wave just because Niv Mizzet is a problem. Yeah, this Reflection Fury combo can be really good, right? Because remember, it also makes a Fury with haste. See what our opponent does here. That's a lot of colors and mana. Olivia Crimson Bride. Yeah, that's not going to do it. Yeah, they're trying to get their Fury back in play, but I'm not even going to let this Olivia attack because this is why Parallax Wave is so broken, right? I'm just exiling their creature at instant speed for literally no cost. No mana cost, just remove counters, and that'll do it. So we sneak in game 2. Let's head into game 3. This is for the trophy. See if we can get there. All right, game 3, we're on the draw. I mean, I like this hand. I did bring in, I took out Steel Seraph and I brought in REB, Red Elemental Blast. As one less artifact, and maybe we can counter something like our opponent's Niv Mizzet, which would be sweet. Opponent leaves out Noble Hierarch though, so let's just get Student down, be a little responsible here. It's always tempting to try to get Ragavan down. The question is, do we go Saga turn 2? All right, then our opponent plays Fable, huh? I think the answer is no. I think the answer is we put another Plains down and level up our Student here. God, I would have loved our hand on the play so much more. Turn 2 Fable's really good from your opponent. But now we have a 3/3 first striker, and I'm just going to not be the aggressor here. They can try to get in there. They do have an Exalted trigger, and we'll just block. So this disincentivizes our opponent from attacking to generate treasure. And I think next turn is the turn I would probably get down Urza Saga, and maybe even just play Intrepid Adversary then, with no counters on it. They are going to get in there. They do want the treasure token. Okay. This is a free block for us, but it's scary because they're ramping up to 4 mana here. What are they going to do with this 4 mana? 5 mana. Sorry, 5 mana. All right, can they cast? Okay, that's 2 red. I was like, can they just cast Niv Mizzet? What is this? Ugh. Turn 3 Fury's pretty good. Yeah. Student down. Ragavan looking really bad. Temporary lockdown. Not doing anything on this board. Brr. All right, so I think we play Saga here and Intrepid Adversary. And then we need to hope to find removal for this Fury. I don't know. Playing Jetmir's Garden and Intrepid Adversary is just doesn't do enough. It's too slow. We need to use, I think we need to use these. Yeah, here we go. We need to use Saga to just go get stuff, right? To just make either constructs or just go get Skull Clamp or Retrofitter Foundry out of our deck. Now, not playing Adversary there is interesting. We are going to take 8. We cannot activate Saga here, end of turn, which I think maybe I forgot. So our opponent's going to have active Reflection and Fury next turn, which is just like super bad. Does temporary lockdown remove Reflection? I think the answer is no, but I forgot. Oh God, Scarab God, Gross. Swords to Plowshares is a great answer, except for the fact that our opponent has a bajillion threats on the other side of the battlefield. If temporary lockdown answers Kiki Jiki, then we can swords this Scarab God and then still try to figure out a way to beat this Fury, which I think we could, but I'm pretty certain that the converted mana value or the mana value of Reflection is 3 because it's counting its backside. If it's not, if Reflection's like 0 mana value because whatever, what happens with this temporary lockdown here? No, it doesn't. Yeah, okay. That was the only way we were going to be able to win. It was just unfortunate. We weren't on the play. Our opponent was able to ramp out really nicely. It was still great games. That match 1 was amazing. That amazing comeback against Shieldred. I feel like that was some of the best Magic. Even though I've punted multiple times, that was some of the best Magic I've ever played. Never give up, right? But man, that was a blast to play. So close to the trophy, maybe next time, right? But anyways. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for chilling with me here. Don't touch that dial and let's keep cubing.